Before the Spanish arrived, the people of Equatorial Guinea had rich and diverse cultures. They lived in well-organized communities with complex social structures. Their economy was based on agriculture, fishing, and trade with neighboring tribes. Daily activities included farming, fishing, and participating in vibrant cultural ceremonies. The Spanish arrived in the Gulf of Guinea in the 15th century. They found islands and a coastline with diverse people. Portugal ruled these lands first, trading with local tribes. Spain claimed the land in 1778, seeking resources and a foothold in Africa. The islands, later named Fernando Po and Bioko, became important. Spain's control was initially weak. Disease and resistance from the islanders limited their influence. Early interactions were largely focused on trade. Spain wanted slaves, ivory, and other goods. However, disease made the mainland inhospitable for the Spanish. This limited their early colonial activities. The islands, with their strategic location, became more valuable to Spain over time. They would become central to Spain's later colonial efforts in the region. Spain established firm control over Equatorial Guinea by the 19th century. They used a system of forced labor to exploit the land and people. Cash crops like cocoa and coffee were introduced, demanding intensive work. The Spanish relied on a combination of direct rule and collaboration with local chiefs. This system allowed them to maintain control with fewer resources. Land was seized from the indigenous population and redistributed to Spanish settlers. This created a system where locals worked on land that was once theirs. The conditions on these plantations were harsh, with little regard for the well-being of the workers. This exploitation fueled the wealth of Spain and its colonial endeavors. The daily lives of Equatorial Guineans were drastically altered under Spanish rule. Traditional ways of life were disrupted, and new cultural norms were imposed. Spanish became the official language, impacting education and communication. Christianity, particularly Catholicism, spread throughout the colony. Traditional beliefs and practices were suppressed, leading to a blending of cultures. The introduction of a European education system created a new elite class. Those educated in Spanish gained access to opportunities denied to others. This created a social divide that persisted even after independence. The impact of Spanish rule on family structures and social hierarchies continues to influence modern Equatorial Guinean society. Resistance against Spanish rule took many forms, from small acts of defiance to organized rebellions. Local leaders and communities fought to protect their lands, cultures, and autonomy. One notable figure is King Malabo, who resisted Spanish encroachment on Bioko Island. Despite facing superior weaponry and tactics, resistance movements demonstrated the desire for self-determination. During the 20th century, the call for independence grew stronger across Africa. Equatorial Guinea was no exception. Nationalist movements emerged, demanding an end to colonial rule. Spain, weakened after World War II, gradually granted more autonomy to its colonies. In 1968, after a period of internal political change, Equatorial Guinea gained its independence. The legacy of Spanish rule continues to shape modern Equatorial Guinean society, influencing its political, social, and cultural landscapes.